So, welcome back to Tuesday Night Lights. Short break. I had to interrupt myself right there, playing the break screen preview video. But hopefully, you got the rundown for JMU versus South Carolina. Kev, I know you just got the rundown. Watching JMU beat UNCC in a close 7-game series. First of all, though, how you doing?
I'm doing absolutely phenomenal. At this moment, I have just came to see proper Collegiate Rocket League here, especially, Bepic, you've been hosting Tuesday Night Lights, Monday Night Lights, all of these different night lights for so long, and I am so excited to see this one come to fruition.
Well, without further ado, since we are so far behind schedule, the benefit of that is you don't have to wait all that long for the next series to pop up on stream. But South Carolina and James Madison taking each other on here in the primetime slot of Tuesday Night Lights. And for South Carolina, I don't know how much they've been playing during the break, but this is a difficult match for them. We just saw how good JMU is and how difficult it is to stop Pigeon on the pitch, but Og can be that same sort of factor for South Carolina when he is allowed to unlock himself on the field. So we'll see if that's the case right now, but at the moment, JMU testing the waters here in offense.
It's been all JMU so far in these first 30 seconds as well, passing it down across the field, seeing this one. This is going to be the first set of offense we see from South Carolina as well. That one going to send high. Og trying to get the angle, but Pigeon with the cherry pick just off of the post. It's not out of the water just yet, but that good save from Cats there was able to get a little bit of pressure delayed. However, James Madison, they shot roughly about a 37% shooting accuracy in that last series against UNC Charlotte, and I am so excited to see how they're going to pick it up here.
Well, South Carolina limiting JMU's ability to pick it up there in the offensive zone. That was a great defensive stand and a key to their victory, I think. It's how UNCC made their money in the last set, limiting JMU's ability to establish themselves in offense. And right here, Og has a big test, but he's able to come with the read on ability shot on target. Cats watches as Og clears the zone, but Gad is there in time to make sure no first blood is drawn just yet.
Yeah, and you look at both of these teams as well. Both players having at least one bubble player on each roster. Og for South Carolina, and then there's Pigeon there for James Madison. Is that one off of the post? Og barely able to get this one. Cats having to save away Og. All three defenders from South Carolina low on boost there. Pop into that midfield ability. Able to get one. Gad down from the backboard, and SJT safely sends this one over into that midfield area.
Defensive tests are being passed at the moment for South Carolina. Again, that has to continue here, but in transition, this is important. Og, a chance on target. Where's the rebound right there? SJT goes backboard again. There are two JMU players up. That was a difficulty for them in the last series, limiting double and triple commits in awkward defensive positions. But there, they aren't punished for it as Cats couldn't get around the rebound opportunity. And so we'll stay 0-0 through half a game of Rocket League, and that feels like a rarity for this night of TNL. But Og just missed an open net.
You almost cursed it there, but a great show of performance so far here from South Carolina. Og as well, trying to keep this aggression and this offense started, but SJT, low boost, able to get 1% into that corner. Gad having to send this one high and wide, but that's there to collect. Pigeon and Og 50 into the midfield. Og trying to follow this one, blocking any shot from ability there. 2 minutes left, still 0-0 on that score line. And here in game one, I feel like it's a feeler match. We saw James Madison against UNC Charlotte, but we haven't seen them go against somebody, I'm going to just say, a little bit less of a higher caliber. Because if we're looking at the records here in the night lights, it's 0-1 for South Carolina. However, now 2-2 for James Madison. And just based off of those records alone, ability just showing why they were able to tie it up.
Well, out of nowhere. South Carolina had their chances to score, but JMU really out of nowhere, because no one expects Cats to miss that read, find themselves a chance, a bit of a freebie for James Madison. But hey, 90 seconds left. You will take that after how chaotic game one has been, and ability diving for that. Got the memo a little late. That was Pigeon's ball, and so stay in JMU's defensive end for the moment, but Cats, he's got some making up to do here, and will try to do that with an assist going Og's way, though Og can't get through Gadira, and We will remain at just a 1-goal lead for JMU. SJT, though, can change that. Leaves it for Og, who shoots low. Abilities there for the save.
Yeah, back over to ability, 50 away from Cats. However, both defenders there from South Carolina besides Og. In a poor position, that pass out to Cats, however, sends it right back to him. The passing play looking good, but Pigeon from that backboard able to send it away. One more touch to secure as well. Now Og fighting against his own net there. But Gadira able to get one touch, but no more. And MrBepic, although we've seen both of these teams so far, it's been entirely close that I don't even know if South Carolina will get one, and we might see an overtime.
Pigeon can kill a lot of clock now with a full boost tank and space down the sideline. I might even secure a second goal. That's just in, and that's the dangers of Pigeon staring at you from across the pitch. South Carolina defended and negated the star power of JMU so well in game one until the very end, unfortunately, and that might be it for our first game, but let's see if South Carolina has anything in store for the final 20.
Gain a little bit of momentum going into game two. That's South Carolina's plan here. Og trying to get it started. Able to go low. The shot on target. The bump did not come through. Ability sending this one away. Still on that orange half, however, as the clock ticks down, the ball will touch the ground. And game one going to James Madison.
Realistically, though, that was a hard-fought game, and I thought there was a real chance that JMU just come out of that win in the last series and jump on a South Carolina that's not prepared for JMU's all-around ability on the ball, but South Carolina looked phenomenal there, and they need to keep it up defensively especially, but that game came down to just a couple of errors, both in offense, Og missing an open net, and in defense, with Cats missing that corner bounce, so it's a 2-0 James Madison win in game one, but I think it's one of those games where the scoreboard does not tell you the full story.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, you can even look at the scoreboard here. South Carolina had 8 shots compared to James Madison's 4. I mean, South Carolina, they were able to put up the shots. They weren't able to make it fall into the back of the net, and that truly does come to show of James Madison able to play as a cohesive unit on that defensive end, getting those counterattacks. Because we saw multiple times where Pigeon was kind of left upfield in that cherry pick position, and Gadira or Ability just had to send it over to him to get a counterattack started, and it worked well for James Madison in game one. I'm going to be interested to see how South Carolina takes their defense and starts turning it into their favor going in here, game two.
I do have to shout out Mikey T in Twitch chat right now, pointing out something that actually is pretty important here, as on the post-game leaderboard there, Cat's ping was spiking pretty roughly, and I think back to his fatal miss in the corner, and I'm wondering if that is a result of internet issues for South Carolina, as if this matchup wasn't hard enough. They might have a fourth contender across the field in the form of whatever ISP Cats uses. But look, Og has looked decent. Outside of the open net miss, he's looked like a potential game changer in this series, and has set up Cats for a chance in offense, stopped by Gad.
A great show of offense here from South Carolina. Could have fallen as well. Just barely bumped away. Gad over to Pigeon. Shot on target. SJT with a good save. However, South Carolina, they've had opportunities so many times. Another one there, but not using that flipper set to even send it to that back wall. You got to start drawing out some of the defenders of James Madison. Get the open nets. Almost like that one, but Gad barely able to get a save, sending that one to the corner. And MrBepic, it truly has seemed so close to where South Carolina has been playing up to the par of James Madison.
I have to shout out SJT, who's technically still the newest member of this South Carolina A-team roster. He joined at the start of the fall, but he has been holding his own in this set. Really solid job of setting up opportunities, keeping control of possession for South Carolina, and recovering well in transition. Well, here he's missed in the corner thanks to the speed of that ball, but so did ability. So an eye for an eye, I suppose.
Yeah, both teams not going to be wanting to look at that replay once more. But Pigeon now not able to get the best of touch. Gadira with the pre-jump, however, and it does work well for him. Put Cats there for that 50. And we're 2 minutes down. Similar story to game one. Still a 0-0 scoreline and MrBepic, both teams trying to find their first goal here, and it may come to the detriment of James Madison as Cats is able to put one into the back of the net.
That's clean. From right here, SJT positions, realizing Ogg's angle on the ball. Ogg either had that informed of him or just recognized where SJT was, played the ball to the side, so SJT's allowed to play on it for free, sets up Cats in the midfield because JMU didn't expect that extra touch on the sideline, and Cats nails his shot. 1-0 South Carolina, and this might not be the JMU, the heavily JMU favored series that we were expecting. We saw glimpses of that in game one, but here in the second game, we're seeing even more thanks to the Gamecocks stepping up offensively.
Yeah, I mean, we've had 2 best-of-7s go all the way so far. I want an early prediction from you, MrBepic. Do you think we're going to get another Game 7 in this series?
I don't. I think, coupled with South Carolina playing precarious defense at times and Cats lagging, I don't think they win this series. I don't think it goes the distance, but I could see this going 5 or 6 for sure. JMU, though, don't look like the dominant offensive force that they were against UNCC, but hey, that's an opening for Gad, and off the crossbar, he'll tie things up.
Yeah, and I mean, you were saying how they weren't looking as good as they did in that last series offensively. I mean, they got to take what they can get. South Carolina, they haven't been playing defensively as well as they normally have there in game 1. We were able to see double commits, over commits as well on that back line, just not sending to a favor. And it worked for Gat. He was able to find that one off of the crossbar, but now ability, trying to get something started, sent over to that side wall, having to take this one from SJT, but just failing to get the proper 50.
SJT has to find a bit of control in offense, but Pigeon reads his touch well. Ogg counters and tries to read Pigeon's speed just as well, but damn, you have flipped the field here. Only seconds left. SJT can flip it right back with a bit of solo play brilliance, and all he can do is scoop the ball, which Pigeon is more than happy to take over following. It's up James Madison again in the offensive zone, but South Carolina there at every turn to counter JMU in offense, and now a counterattack of their own nets them a lead with 1:11 left.
A great play, the team play in general. I mean, Cats, he saw SJT, but SJT saw the final defender. It was already on. That bump is all it needed to get the lead once more. South Carolina up by 1 with 1:11 left. They're going to look to hold it as that one off the kickoff finds its way towards the blue net.
Again, though, it's SJT stepping up big time for South Carolina, and when he started on this team in the fall, he was absolutely the weak link, had big shoes to fill after Solar graduated this past summer, but here he has shown his improvement against a top-looking CRL team, and SJT again clutch on the goal line for South Carolina. That's a big stop to keep the Gamecocks in front.
And Cats as well, going for that bump on Gad, could not find it, but did get the boost arm in that corner. You see ability on 0, but will it matter as Pigeon sends that one steaming? But it's still on the blue half, 30 seconds left, and James Madison's in crunch time, but with that bump, it may have found it.
Oh, and that touch from Cats actually makes it so Gad has to wait after picking up the 100 boost in the corner to take over in the, still in the corner, I suppose, but he had to wait on it. And JMU will have to score on 0 seconds. It's looking like, if at all, Cats wanted the game done and dusted right there. SJT might have helped secure it. The ball stays up, but SJT interferes with ability there, enough to get the Gamecocks on the board. What a performance.
And even with that spiking ping as well from Cats, you can see it there for that brief moment that the scoreboard showed. They still played phenomenally. I mean, we saw the bumps coming out from SJT. Cats able to find both other goals there, both assisted as well. An overall fantastic team play from South Carolina here to take that game too. And James Madison, they're not looking as strong as they did against UNC Charlotte. And I'm honestly starting to wonder why and how that could be.
Well, I have to also point out that Cats' ping is still spiking, but he shot 2 for 3 in that game and was a force all around the field. Great off-ball movement. And so going forward, I mean, James Madison, to correct the course that this series is going down, I am wondering if they play a bit more passive against South Carolina here. Let the plays come to them, see if they can generate some sidewall plays out of it, because they're gaining space when they get a bit of room to let their solo players solo play. But on the South Carolina goal line, a lot of big saves coming up there. So JMU, I mean, the ball's in their court here, Kev, but they still have to make the most of this opportunity.
Yeah, and I mean, we've essentially turned a best of 7 into a best of 5 now. Going into game 3, James Madison looking to reverse the tides. A demo onto Pigeon will stop any momentum off that kickoff, or so I thought. Ability looking for that double tap, but just got bumped off of the pathway. And Pigeon already up. Send this one, trying to get it over to Gad, but Og able to get one shot on target, create a little bit of a disturbance there for JMU.
And real quick, I gotta shout out my guy opposite boy with the Prime sub. Dude, how you been, my friend? I appreciate the Prime sub. Thanks for popping in for some Tuesday Night Lights action. It's good to see you around. And back into the action. I appreciate the players for letting me shout out my good friend there. But back to it. And Pigeon, definitely the guy to kick things back off with. But Og on the goal line follows up on SJT's original stop, and we're going to stay tied at 0 apiece.
Yeah, and I mean, we may be for so long. Gad with that double tap. A great control, aerial control all around. You saw that final defender. I believe it was Og, left in net. Originally went for the first touch. Double tap right in his face. JMU able to pick up the first goal here in game 3.
And that was clean, too. In transition, linking up. And Pigeon and Gad, that's the duo to watch out for in transition. And then occasionally you got to watch out for one half of that duo. Pigeon gets a little bit of room. No matter how little boost he has in hand, can still be an absolute menace. And Cats just learned that lesson firsthand. 2-0 JMU.
A great way to shift the momentum back into JMU's side. Already 2 goals in roughly a minute. SJT trying to find the bump on Gad as well to clear the net. Cats off the ceiling, able to get a 50 there, leaving it right in front of that orange net. Ability, a big pop, and the flying bird comes out, but can't find the touch.
50. Cats is low in the boost funds, and so he can't get back to that challenge. Pigeon will go off the sidewall. Someone's got to be up quick for this. Play off the ceiling, flip reset, going top left, and no one put a hand up. So Pigeon is allowed, you know, in his terms, I think, a freebie.
I called him a flying bird because I thought he was just going to go for some normal aerials. He just went off the ceiling, flip reset over 2 defenders. What a shot from Pigeon. 3-0 now, 90 seconds into game 3 as well. Og looking to get a little bit of favoritism there. The bump helps off of the post, able to find one.
Look, when you got talent on your side that can make deep runs in RLCS competitions, you know you're in for a high-flying, highly mechanical show match. And Og and Pigeon are showing out for us right now. We're just 90 seconds into game 3 here, and it's 3-1 JMU, yes, but that's the first time we've really seen Og step up this series, and there he is again, setting up SJT with an opportunity in the offensive zone, and eventually Cats, if ability doesn't double up right there. So South Carolina might have gained some steam thanks to Og's solo play efforts off kickoff.
Yeah, but that steam may be gone. What a save from Cats. Able to get it off that crossbar. Pigeon as well, trying to force this one through, but the rookie and SJT safely getting this one out of harm's way. And Gad now back into that midfield, but as we get and switch the sides, we're approaching halftime, and MrBepic, it hasn't looked good here in game 3 at all for South Carolina.
Outside of the about 30-second stretch where they did score their 1 goal and had a couple half chances, they put another one on the board, but outside of that, they've been really heavily leaning on their backside defensively, and that's gotten them in a manageable game. Thanks to that 1 goal they scored, there is a way back for the Gamecocks, but They need more of what they found earlier when they put their first, and that is actually provided now by Og. His ground game gives them a lot of space here on a low boost ability, so a free shot for Og, but he had to pre-flip into it and couldn't exactly read the play perfectly.
And both teams at 5 shots even there in game 3 so far. Still 2 minutes left on the clock, so it is anybody's game, but Pigeon and Gad trying to find it. You've mentioned that duo for so many times this and last series. Pigeon off that hot corner, can't find a touch, but Gad's trying to send this one right back in. Gets a little bit of a controlled 50, but goes the other way. Into that midfield, Og looking for one, can't find the second. SJT as well to follow. That teammate, but one more time, a shot goes on and saved away by Gad.
South Carolina doing their best to really put JMU up against it, but in transition, the Dukes are still lethal. Og, though, collects out of the corner. He's got 100 boost. He's beaten one. It's not well-layered defense out of JMU. They get spaced apart, so Og can isolate challenges. And Gad getting flicked over right here needed someone to follow him up immediately, and that was not given. Ability's got nothing in the tank on the goal line, and just like that, South Carolina are very much in Game 3.
Yeah, still 69 seconds left. Anyone's game. SJT straight to this corner, trying to find one early on. We saw Cats looking for a bit of a pre-jump, but SJT calls him off and able to, from one touch, looking no further. Pigeon with no boost. Gad to collect, and already South Carolina, they're looking better in the second half of game 3, but it's that transition as well that I was looking for to see how well they'll go from defense to get these open net counterattacks, or maybe just leave for an open net themselves. Pigeon up high, not able to find an ability as well, just stopped by SJT.
No way.
But with that open net, tie game here, 3-all.
That defensive sequence from South Carolina is why I love Collegiate Rocket League so much, because you'll see the high-flying mechanical goals of Pigeon and Og in one breath, and then in the next moment you're watching them do a whole lot of nothing in defense. I think there were 3 whiffs out of 5 or 6 challenges taken there in their defensive end, and then score a goal at the end of the play. It's just chaos incarnates in the collegiate aspect of competitive Rocket League. So JMU lose their lead. What was once a 3-goal deficit for South Carolina has been turned into a tie ball game with 10 seconds to go.
Yeah, we may have our first overtime here
in
this series. Og trying to chase this one down, trying to not let Pigeon go through. SJT, the booming clear. Will it touch the ground? Yes, it will. And here in game 3, we officially have overtime.
There will just be no regaining the schedule on Tuesday Night Lights tonight. We started behind schedule thanks to a Game 7 between Alabama and Tennessee, and we're just going to stay behind all night long unless JMU can finish this OT quickly, but SJT is not interested. Quick cut right there to slow down the Dukes offensively, but Gad will rekindle their offensive flames. Cats off the sidewall. Gives Pigeon a tough ball to read, but he is more than capable. Although South Carolina, big chance here. Cats sends the shot off target, though. I don't know how much he knew about that net being exposed, but the shot goes wayward, and JMU counter and take game 3 after all of that.
A great redirect from ability, able to just push this one ever so slightly faster. And I mean, Og with no boost, out of position there. JMU, good comeback here from game 2 as well. They weren't looking so good. The momentum immediately shifted in their favor, and going here as well, South Carolina, they still look very strong. They have not taken their foot off the gas. That second half as well, that last minute, especially on that defensive plays, counterattack to that offense. MrBepic, I honestly do think we may have a game 6 or 7.
I might be with you. They don't look like they're phased at all by James Madison and are finding ways to score. They're capitalizing on a decent percentage of their chances. I mean, they shot 33% that game, and Cats didn't register a shot as well. It was Og and SJT commanding the offensive zone there in the back half of game 3. But James Madison, look, they've got a series lead. And they are in a position, I think, where they've got a more potent offense, and if they can find a way to stay a bit more composed in transition, they should close this out in Game 5. But if South Carolina keep playing like that and then find another level, Kev, they can make a run here and are putting themselves in a great spot to start this season.
Yeah, and the passing plays as well, especially from James Madison there between Gadira and Pigeon. I think if they just ever so slightly tune those to be more confident in that midfield area, they are going to be taking this series by storm.
All right, here we go. Game 4. Going to put up or shut up if you're really both of these teams. After JMU beat UNCC, another potentially top 48 CRL team this season, I thought they'd come into this against the South Carolina that's been a bit down after a lackluster to their standards fall semester and would dismantle them. But that has not been the case. It's been tight. It's been extremely high-flying at times, and Pigeon, with that skim, is robbed a highlight.
And for those of you guys that have just joined us, this is Game 4 of this best-of-7 series. Both teams looking to gain one more in their scoreline here for Tuesday Night Lights. Ability down the wing, trying to find a teammate, has Pigeon right behind, pushing this one towards that center of the net, not able to find it. And one more chance. Ability in that midfield of both players from JMU going up, and this one will look the other way.
Gad's going low with it, realizing the space he had between his car and Gad's, but oh, that's a miss on the backboard. SJT, he's been playing phenomenally this series. You have to be careful in those kinds of spots. If you're going to beat JMU, you have to make reads like that for the most part, though. Right there, the miss goes unpunished, though SJT is still low in the boost departments, and South Carolina is surviving on very thin ice defensively.
Yeah, Gad now as well with no boost in that corner, trying to find a pass into the midfield, but nobody there from JMU to recover. However, Pigeon now trying to go up high, sent away by SJT, looking for that bump on the back line, cannot find it, and Cats can't find the shot either. And Og trying to resemble any chance of keeping their hopes alive for the first goal, and he does it well, placed perfectly by Cats, and South Carolina find their first goal in Game 4.
That is a veteran shot right there. Cats plays the ball off of Gad's car and then shoots it far side away from the last man for JMU. And Cats has been doing this a long time. This is his final semester. More than likely, you never know with college students if they're going to go for an extra year somewhere else or at their same school or what's going to happen. But for his traditional 4 years, this is it for Cats. And I know he wants to close out his collegiate career with a big statement of a semester. And this is a good start, but you gotta deal with the young guns, even as an old man in collegiate. And one of the youngest guns in CRL has just flip reset on your defense.
Yeah, there's not much else you can do there when you're caught off guard with that flip reset. I don't know if Cats knew he had a flip reset going into that shot there, but we have a tie game here in Game 4. Maybe a shot on target. No, just sent wide from SJT. And Cats as well trying to send his car in the way. The Og, the backboard, can't find a double. Cats not able to find a touch either as we look towards blue. The SJT trying to say no mas as now to that midfield area. Great stop by Gad and Pigeon to collect.
You can see that play right there is a product of how well South Carolina's been defending the JMU counters this game, because Auk dove in aggressively on the JMU goal line, and now he's backed out, refueled his boost tank, but shut down by Gad, and Pigeon's found downfield, and that redirect he will hit.
I'm sorry. Like, I understand you could be an RLCS, you know, bubble player veteran. You could do all these things. You could be 2200 in 2's MMR. But that's just downright disrespectful. A great, absolutely phenomenal, and just picture perfect redirect as Gad trying to force this one in, and he does, extending the lead. But all three players now from JMU finding pieces of the offense back again in Game 4.
I know that won't get as much love as a redirect or a more stylish goal from Pigeon, but that is what I call picture perfect. The stutter step from Gad at the start of the play to avoid the oncoming player, the flip reset underneath the second man up, and then the absolutely pixel perfect 50-50 on the South Carolina goal line to put JMU up by 2. That is a goal that should be treated at the same level as a sidewall flip reset musty double tap, because it's massive for JMU in a game that could easily go South Carolina's way, or they get level in this series and keep us going a little bit longer. That puts JMU in a commanding position and might help them secure now a 2-game advantage, especially with Pigeon getting chances like that, which I think you should have hit.
Yeah, I mean, you can go for as many redirects, flip resets, musties, whatever you want, but everybody knows the hardest shot in Rocket League is those wide open nets. Pigeon able to find out there as well, but as time ticking down here, South Carolina trying to find a second, trying to find an answer, and from this defense, their ability taken off the board. Gad not in any position, shot on target, saved away. That was a great turn of events, a light shining for South Carolina.
It's clean. Their offense has been operating at a high level. It's an awkward bounce though for Cats. Didn't have the read, and it results in a big chance there for Gad, but he is stopped initially. Rebound opportunity here for JMU. That's one defender off the goal line. Ogg's been taken out, and Cats just has to watch as Gadira puts in the 4th for JMU, and Game 4 is very close to being out of reach.
Honestly, I have a feeling it kind of is out of reach right now. We've been seeing these long-term free play, open play goals from both of these squads. We haven't really seen these quick succession ones so far here in Game 4 or even in Game 3 as well as this one. Rolling across the center of the net, nobody from South Carolina was there to play. Pigeon taking off the board with that massive bump was just going to be another way JMU takes control, taking and slowing down that play.
Ogg off the ceiling. Won't be able to get back to the ball, but Pigeon jumped early. Again, a sign of the respect that South Carolina has commanded. Offensively, especially this series. But Game 4 has not gone their way. 5-1 scoreline will just further extend this game, as the 5th wasn't needed, but JMU are laying it on the Gamecocks here.
They have not been able to make the statement so far with no commanding leads until now. 5-1 in Game 4 after the amount of closeness we have had in the first 3. This is one of those statements from JMU saying, hey, listen, we may have looked better, but we're still here, we're still in top form, and we're ready for what comes next.
JC had all 3 JMU players wanting to keep this play going, but on the blue side of the field. They're having fun at the moment, and why not? They finally found a way through a stout South Carolina defense that had given them fits throughout this series. I mean, I suppose Game 3, they did score 4 goals, but really had to earn that game win, as South Carolina were putting up numbers defensively and doing enough offensively to keep the game close, and here, unfortunately, not the case. I think the scoreboard, Kev, tells the whole story.
Yeah, I mean, we saw so many good outlets for South Carolina as well, especially on that defense from SJT, Cats, and Ogg. All 3 players had great defensive stops. However, when you cannot transform those defensive stops into a counterattack, especially not those that have all 3 members of your team being in that play, it just breaks down one by one. We saw the low boost, we saw the overcommits, we saw every single pass that should have been a pass but stopped by JMU, and JMU just looked massively better here in Game 4 than they have this entire series so far.
They were finding a lot more gaps in the South Carolina defense, which, you're right, low boost situations, just awkward plays in general. And this is an experienced team. I talk about the veteran leadership of Cats on South Carolina. I mean, Ogg at this point is a collegiate veteran as well. And I on the side, Cats is a mental coach. So I don't worry about South Carolina's ability to reset after a game like that. But I would like, for the sake of this series' longevity, to see South Carolina come out and score early on against JMU. Otherwise, we could see the Dukes just really bowl on through. A competitor that has stood tall against them this series, but hasn't always looked like the best team on the field.
Yeah, and I mean, South Carolina, I'm just going to go based off of their history here in this series as well. 8 shots in Game 1, 8 shots in Game 2, 9 shots in Game 3, only 5 in that last game as well. However, it's been for JMU progressively getting better, especially 4, 6, 13, 11 as well. They've been looking for those gaps. They've been securing it much easier as well. As we're getting into Game 5 in just a moment. Right now, actually, James Madison on match point for this series, looking to extend it to this as well. That kickoff will signify that they are ready to win this series.
That was not what was supposed to happen for South Carolina to get back in this set. I mean, a kickoff goal. Again, I'm not worried about South Carolina's mental here, but kickoff goal certainly stings just a little bit. 2 seconds in, you're already fighting from behind as if you weren't already, and they will win the subsequent kickoff, but could use an equalizer pretty soon.
Yeah, when your back's against the wall, this is when you have to throw everything at the mound, at the pitcher's plate, whichever one you want to call it. But Gadira can't go any further, trying to back up, have Pigeon more ability, go for this ball. It's actually going to be him, but he spots ability, saved away by SJT off of that passing lane. Oh, no touch, the whiff as well. Can he find the dunk? Yes, he can. Katz, the veteran from South Carolina, tying this one up.
That fake from Og is beautiful. I don't know if that was planned. I like to imagine Katz was like, fake a challenge there, go for the boost, something like that. Or Og says that he's going to do that. And so Katz is allowed a little bit of room to work with right there, thanks to the defender getting zoned off, thinking Og's playing that up the sidewall, and that wasn't the case. And so Katz is allowed a 1v1 on the JMU goal line, results in an equalizer, but is immediately negated by Gad on the other side of the field.
Yeah, and from South Carolina as well, we've seen SJT, we've seen Katz, we've been mentioning their name a lot. I really want to see Og get activated, because goals like this, if Og truly does get activated, we've seen what he can do. I think if he does there, that just would not have happened at all. I think Og would have been at least somewhat there, or somebody from South Carolina to get the stop.
Either way, a learning moment for SJT. That is a rough position to challenge his third man in, and here's Og trying to get activated. Landed 2 players up in the air from the JMU back line, and here with the save, but now we're spread a bit thin, and yeah, it's awkward right there to jump up off the ramp of his back wall. Pigeon froze on the goal line as things are getting too weird for his liking, it feels like, in defense.
And Katz trying to get one there, but both defenders from South Carolina and Og having to take this one slow. A very dangerous position to be in. A good clear there. A little bit help from Pigeon, but get this one over to the orange corner. But it does look like South Carolina finding one into that midfield, but no further than that. With Og not getting the best 50 as Pigeon now. Double tap into the field, letting it go. Gavin, shot saved away by Og.
All ability. Puts the shot on target. A little bit high, I think, but in the general direction of the South Carolina net. Either way, SJT slowed things down for a moment, but there isn't a whole lot of boost on the South Carolina end. Their challenging player has been low in the boost tank, and right there, Katz had enough boost to get to the ball, but not enough to really make a transition play of it. So, awkward in defense as to watch, as Katz is required to have his teammates back there on the goal line. And no harm done. Og gets the ball back. Katz in a 2v1, it's in a 2v2. Gad joined the fray and will stop South Carolina from tying this game up.
Katz with that demo on the kitchen as well, alleviate any pressure that would have been immediate for South Carolina. Og trying to tee this one up, can't find the bump, as well as Pigeon. This one's the midfield, but that whiff from SJT may be detrimental. Saved away by Katz though, and SJT, he is the rookie for this South Carolina squad. He has had some good highlights in this series, but Og trying to get a highlight reel of his own, able to slam this between 2 defenders. This game is officially tied up.
Nicely placed pass by SJT, getting that through JMU's backboard, but impressive positioning from Og, recognizing that play was a possibility, because he's third man right there, and Katz didn't have boost. He was not going to get back quickly, so a third man commitment is risky. But Og recognized the play. South Carolina were on the same page as each other, and have tied us up again. Last time they found a tie, it was immediately negated by JMU, but here, no immediate response for the Dukes, so they keep playing in their defensive side, and South Carolina had a decent look at the net.
Yeah, that's Steele as well, alone on that wing. One more time, Katz, you can see him bullying ability in net, still able to get up there for that stop. Now, it's JMU looking to get their lead back here in game 5. Pigeon trying to do it all on his lonesome. Og just having to wait the patient, and I think that's the name of the game here. We're seeing JMU go for a lot of these flashy style passes or even shots, and if South Carolina just stays patient, it's going to be given right to them.
Gad is met by SJT here. Play going. Double there in the corner. Gives Cats a chance to shoot. And JMU, there are large gaps between their first man up and their second man up. And it's allowing South Carolina room to breathe in offense and take their time. And I have a lot of respect for the South Carolina offense, but you put them in a situation where they have to react quickly and recognize the defensive posturing of JMU fast. I don't think they're always going to make the right decision, but they're being given room here. And JMU, well, tie ball game kind of speaks for itself. But this is a chance to take a late lead. Pigeon off the backboard into the back of the South Carolina nets. He was granted some space, and he knew exactly what to do with it.
You can always say all these plays that draw out every single defender is a thing of beauty, but some can do it just like Pigeon, but very few can do it with that consistency. We've seen him get activated all night long, but off the kickoff, able to get the tying goal back at 3, just over 30 seconds left. And MrBepic, I think this one is payback for goal 1.
I suppose so. South Carolina giving JMU a taste of their own medicine, and with 30 seconds left, we are tied again. These two teams just cannot separate from one another, and this is a big chance. Cats into the corner. A second touch gives Og a chance to shoot. He's got a hat trick, and the Gamecocks have a lead.
The first lead for them here in Game 4 as well. Og now just able to get the positioning perfect every single time for his goal. Instead, we've seen immediate counters from JMU. This may be one of those time. Og trying to get it around Pigeon, not going to be able to. As time ticks down, JMU looks a little scared as nobody's in net. Og with the shot, barely able to get to it. Pigeon, a great stop.
Now, a chance for JMU late, and Gad's barreling through everybody. Cats is awkward, but Pigeon's 50-50 goes too hard off the backboard, and that will mean South Carolina secure themselves their second game win of the series, and it is 3-2.
Wow, we are going to Game 6 for what we thought might have been a quick series for JMU now. Going into Game 6, and the momentum is back on South Carolina's side. They were fighting back against this every single step of the way, especially with that kickoff goal there at the beginning of this game. But now, South Carolina bringing it to Game 6, and they just need one to bring this one to all 7, and we may just have the curse of TNL back again, of every single series going to 7 or some final match. But MrBepic, I honestly think James Madison might take this next one only based off of, we saw them let up a little bit, but then once they start getting back on that driver pedal, it's just going to be non-stop for JMU.
Even then, South Carolina showed a great ability to come back in that last game. I mean, back and forth the whole time. USC was playing from behind for a good chunk of Game 5, and I mean, they ended up winning the game by 2 goals thanks to a last-second score on 0 seconds. That didn't really matter too much, but still, 5 goals for a South Carolina team whose offense at times has been called a step below James Madison here. And I think at some point, Kev, we're going to have to give them their flowers and say that this is 2 offensive titans going back and forth.
Yeah, and it truly will come down to the defense here in Game 6. If JMU is able to start breaking down that defense of South Carolina that we've seen be so strong this entire series now, it's going to be JMU's series to take. But South Carolina, they know what it takes now. They're trying to look for something. Gad as well, looking for a demo or something, but Og, where was the defense? We saw that player in net. However, just no challenge to show.
Yeah, ability. He drove back really wide. He cut inside. Maybe he thought he could get an initial challenge or fake challenge. I'm not sure, but that really limited his momentum on the goal line. And once it was pretty much fully killed, he could not recover. And Og shooting near side with strength. That's all he has to do to score the opener for South Carolina. And Og trying to add another to his tally. USC have scored 2 in a row, and Og is providing right now for the Gamecocks.
We mentioned it earlier in the series, how if Og gets activated, it's gonna look scary against JMU, and now he's getting activated very early on here in Game 6. And let's see if he can do it one more time, or will JMU look to fight back? Og looking for his third.
That's a flip, no extra touch. I suppose he did touch it technically, enough for 2 points on the scoreboard, but not enough to make a real difference. JMU will get some time in offense, which they really haven't had so far this game. It's been short bursts of offense that haven't produced much in the way of shots on target or quality looks. And on the other side, South Carolina, decent chance again to make it 3-0. And while we have seen 3-0 leads completely canceled out during this series on Tuesday Night Lights, a 3-0 is something that South Carolina should be very happy to find.
Yeah, a 3-0 may come here. Not going to be off of that redirect from Og. Cats almost getting bumped off over to SJT, to the net. Gad saving this one away, but not out of the danger zone just yet until he's able to find Pigeon in that midfield. And we talked about that cherry pick position. This one off the post, but Gad with another shot, slotting that one in. The lead down to half, and JMU looking for the comeback.
Oh, that first shot probably should have gone in, but it did set up a nice finishing touch from Gad. Again, showing his ability to place the ball as a consistent striker for James Madison, but ability setting him up big time. And now off kickoff, SJT was late to the play, and that throws enough of a wrench in JMU's plans, where Gad had to make a save almost immediately on the other side of Utopia.
And Og to that back wall, able to stop ability from even getting into the play. Pigeon leaving this one for Gad. The double touch, no, looking down off the crossbar, ability with the shot. And oh, that diving save, but they're not out of the woods. 1 down, 2 ability, no touch. And this one able to get stopped. But another shot sent towards the blue net of 50 in the midfield. Will leave it up to chance. And just a barrage of shots from JMU. Nothing finding the mark, and South Carolina hold on to their lead just a little longer.
We'll see if it stays much longer, though. That should be a goal. Pigeon with some room, but he couldn't keep the ball with enough power behind it to get through the 2 defenders of South Carolina. And I got worried for the Gamecocks there, but Pigeon is stopped the first time round. Second time, though, off the backboard, gives ability a shot, but Og's there to find a stop. And ability, a rough touch out to the side. Actually, it is fielded by Gad, so no harm really done until now as South Carolina fully clear the zone.
Building now as well on that wing, not able to find a touch, and I feel like that's a common theme we've seen, where ability wasn't able to find the touch here in Game 6 that he was looking for. They had the patience of just panic, being like, hey, we might actually go to a Game 7 when we thought this would be ours very securely, but Gad into that midfield, and ability with another hit, but no shot on target marked as we find the rule 1 broken, but it doesn't matter as ability ties this one up.
All right, if you're a believer in the Rule 1 curse, even though a goal was scored immediately after, there is still some bad juju there for Gad flipping out of that before the equalizer was secured for JMU. So they better be cautious now that the curse doesn't wrap its way, wrap our way into a Game 7. But minute 50 here, South Carolina chance off a kickoff, but it is stopped by ability rotating home.
Ability able to keep any control there, not likely, as Gad on that back end trying to go for the save, the double save there from Pigeon and Gad. Send this one over to the corner, but it has not gone out of the orange corner just yet. Another 50 there, trying to be taken by Og. Has SJT in the midfield, opting for himself and barely able to find the save. Is Gad finding a save your medal, but he also has an open look over to Pigeon back into that corner. And MrBepic, JMU does it. They get the lead.
You could tell as soon as that hairline save was made on the other end of the field that JMU was going to counter with pace, and unfortunately Og is a victim of that pace. Forced own goal right there. James Madison take a lead with a minute 14 left, but here in Game 6, South Carolina, though they have lost their lead, just like last game, have great comeback potential and plenty of time to do just that.
SJT able to bump one off Gad. Now over to that side wall. Low boost. What can he do? Trying to find Pigeon in the midfield. Looking for the shot. Finds it. Top bins. And 4-2. JMU storm away.
And that's danger for South Carolina. They were coming back from 1-goal deficits last game, not 2. And not 2 with under 60 seconds left to play. This is where we need to see some of that veteran leadership and ice in the veins of Katz and his South Carolina Gamecocks roster show up, because JMU, they've got ice. We saw that last series, and they've got ice enough to control this series to bed.
Gad now as well, just stopping any momentum South Carolina had from that 1v3. Pigeon now going back into his own half. I mean, it's to keep control. It seems to be Gad, no touch there, so the control has been lost as Katz sends a slow shot down right at ability, a flick high, and with less than 30 seconds left, South Carolina not looking good. Their ability sends it one high.
Oh, and Og tried to pinch it. If that had the pace of an actual pinch behind it, not a half-hearted one, I think it might have shifted things for South Carolina. But no, James Madison had to earn their second consecutive Tuesday Night Lights victory, but earn it they did. 4-2, JMU go undefeated on TNL1, and what a showcase of this new look roster.
And we do not have a Game 7, but a action-packed series at that as well. Both teams looking very good, and both teams had absolutely great highlights in this series. Bepic, I appreciate you for letting me be on this. South Carolina, they held up their end of the bargain, though. Although they might have lost, they absolutely played phenomenally in a much better showing than they did last season.
They did. I'm really happy to see that version of South Carolina to start the semester off, because they're fighting for a land spot in the SEL, and if they're looking that good the entire season, I think they very well could be one of the top 8 SEL teams at the end of the season. And I'm pinging Gad to see if he wants to pop in for an interview here, since JMU has one. I promised him one after the UNCC victory, but he's got to hop in quickly because we don't have a ton of time to waste here. UT Arlington and SDSU are waiting to play their nightcap series, but all right, I see him. Gad has popped in, so let's drag him in. All right, Gad, you're muted, so make sure to unmute before you start talking. But hey, 2-0 to really kick off the spring semester on Tuesday Night Lights. How you feeling?
Yes, sir, bro. We're feeling good.
All right,
feeling really good at the team.
Hey, new edition of Pigeon. I've got to ask, like, I think at times it's obvious what he brings to the team, that infusion of mechanics, but what's it like teaming with him, and what does he really bring to the team?
I mean, me and Pigeon have been we teamed in like a year ago, or not a year ago, 2 years ago maybe. I don't know. We've been a duo for quite a bit. So to have him actually as my college teammate is like incredible. And, you know, he's insane. He almost made RLCS. But honestly, Pigeon's kind of quiet, so it's kind of up to me and ability to get him going.
Yeah, and all three of you guys played absolutely phenomenally. Both series finding each other on every single passing play. We saw you guys were just activating each other in that midfield, going for bumps, going for demos, the boost stars as well, and then sending it to Pigeon in that midfield from defense. We saw those cherry pick abilities as well. Kind of how has Pigeon been able to help you guys move forward as the roster progresses? Obviously, as he is coming in as the new guy, the play style shifts. What has he kind of brought into your team?
Yeah, I mean, no, he's just an incredible player, and because of how good he is as a player, it kind of just elevates me and ability to our best, self. So it's just incredible having, his mechanical skill in the field, because he relieves a lot of pressure, especially like on defense. Like if we're ever in a tight spot, he can just control it and get us out of that sticky situation. So yeah, no, it's incredible having him as a teammate.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys went 2-0 today. We're looking to the future. What is next for James Madison University?
Yeah, we just got the confirmation that we're going to be playing in SEL, so hopefully we can qualify for that LAN. I don't remember what we got last semester, but we did make the playoffs, and we lost to a pretty good ETSU team who made the lower bracket run. We're going to be playing in CCS. there's a lot of leagues we're gonna play in, and also a lot of lands. Hopefully qualifying for the CECC through SEO as well. Um, yeah, we're gonna be playing as much as we can for sure.
Hey, love to hear it. Busy spring for the boys over at JMU. Getting it kicked off on the right foot, yeah. Congratulations on the 2 big wins tonight, and I'll let you go celebrate. I'm sure you'll be back in the booth with us another time.
Alrighty, I appreciate you guys.
All right, thank you. Gadira from James Madison University. We do have to say goodbye to them because San Diego State and UT Arlington are up next on Tuesday Night Lights. So stick around another series longer. Kev, thank you for joining me in the booth. I'm going to throw it to a break now because we're still behind schedule. Things never run on time at Tuesday Night Lights. But everybody, stick around for the Nightcap series. SDSU and UT Arlington coming up in just a bit. See you there.